Everybody move. Welcome back to the Alpha Moment, where mom and daughter have candid conversation. So it's your girl Mel.
It's your girl Dr. Collins. And every week we are going to be meeting where we're going to be having discussions of things that people think about that they rarely say out loud.
I like that. So whether it be personal growth, marriage, emotions, emotional intelligence, psychological safety, whatever we want to dive into, just know we hope that it encourages you and you take away something from these talks.
So grab your coffee, water, a glass of wine, whatever, rock your boats, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy. And comment so we can know what you're looking for next.
Amen, amen. So now that we're getting into it, hope you had a good week on last week. How did you feel? The episode dropped. Everything is good. We're getting back into the groove. We're staying consistent. So most of all, that's of importance. But shout out to everyone that tuned in and pretty much said that they needed these type of talks, especially in a different space and a different climate that we're in. So
yeah,
shout out to that.
When we just even think about everything that's happening right now, there's just a lot of negativity in the air, and we want to put a different spin on that. So people's mind don't be spiraling downward, but they can enjoy this conversation and feel uplifted.
I like that. Speaking of people spiraling and all these different things of what's going on in the world, I do have a question for you in regards to why do we feel pressure to appear perfect?
Yeah, there's many sides to that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't believe in perfection,
Okay.
A lot of clients that I work with,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I like perfection, so they gotta fix everything, they gotta, it causes you to micromanage, first of all.
Okay.
If you have a team, because it's never done to your likeness.
Right.
It stifles your team if you want to look at it from a professional space.
Mm-hmm.
It really stifles your team because it doesn't allow them an opportunity to grow. Because everything they would bring to you, it's never to your standard.
Mm-hmm.
And just this quick point, as a leader,
Mm-hmm.
you do not want to expect your team or even your peers to be at the same level with you where you are as far as that perfection syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has different capacity at which they can work.
Mm-hmm.
So your best might be at 100 and somebody's best might be 80, but
Right.
that doesn't mean it's not good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
So when you start being operating in that space of perfectionism, a lot of times it can stem from insecurity, where you don't feel good enough. You don't feel like what you're doing is going to come across the right way. So you got to keep fixing it. You got to keep changing it, and it's not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectionism brings about stress that can lead to burnout.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
you're so stressed about, is it good enough, right? And so my thing is, I encourage my leaders, and as well as myself, do things with excellence. When you do
Instead of being
it,
perfect.
make sure it's good enough, but it doesn't have to be perfect, because none of us are perfect.
Yeah, so you handle it in the sense of your professional standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and I always gotta
Swing
swing
it, yeah.
And I do feel like the pressure to appear perfect certain times can be associated even down to social media.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
I think social media creates a false narrative to whereas not even a false narrative, but a false reality that people don't see that when it finally hits the internet and the world, it's been doctored up, it's been done, all these different things, and they're like, oh man, this person appears perfect, like how do I get to that standard? When you have to kind of take that annotation out of it and realize there is no perfect thing. So you're seeing a edited image, right? Finished version. Whereas in your real day-to-day life, it's like, how do I become the best version for me and what that looks like. How do I show up?
That's it right there.
You know what I mean?
Being that best version of yourself.
Right, because I think you can get lost in trying to be the best version that other people see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always say, why be a carbon copy when you can be an original?
Fact. We're in a state of influencers and different things, and I think you can be influenced to still be yourself, if that makes sense. Because I believe in life every day we take different things that we would like to, incorporate into our daily lives, whether it be work-wise, professional-wise, relationship-wise, different things. Like, okay, I'm learning, I'm growing, and you're being influenced by these things. But I don't think that people need to take on somebody else or a certain thing to appear put together.
I mean, my thing is there are people I admire.
Yeah.
But I don't aspire to be them.
Right.
I admire them, and there might be some behaviors that they model that I'll be like, oh wow, yeah, I can identify with that, and I can take certain things and do it, make it mine.
Right.
But I don't have to want to mimic or to take on that identity of that person to show up like them.
Absolutely.
Right? So that too can cause that perfectionism, right? Because I want to be this perfect person. Oh my God, look at how they show up. Now I want to do that. It's funny. I'm just going to share this really quick, and I hope it's appropriate. But I had a client who she considered this person was so good at presenting, and she felt she was not. And she wanted to be this perfect person to present, to the point she says, you know what, I find myself literally hating this person because I don't know how to be good like them.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of walk her back on that. Like, you don't try to be her. You show up as your best self. What would that look like for you, as opposed to trying to take on that person? So that we have to be careful, because that can bring on resentment and really high stress.
Well, speaking on that, right, we segue into what's the cost of pretending to be okay, even in the space of wanting to be perfect. And that costs you what? Your peace of mind, your actual identity. I think it costs you your identity.
Yeah. And
people don't understand how costly that is when you want to walk in steps that weren't made for you.
Yeah, we tend to want to wear armor that's too heavy for us.
Okay.
Right? And if you really can get a peek behind the scenes of what happened in some of the lives that we were wanting to be, you wouldn't run. Because no one knows what people go through to get to where they are.
That's the point that you see, without cutting you, that I wanted you to hit, in the sense of people never know what it took for that person to get to this point in their life, to have that type of confidence, to wear that type of aura and different things. And sometimes when we strive for that perfectionism thing, it's like you coming out of your own story to say, oh, I gotta get this, when in actuality each person has their own unique fingerprint, their unique walk, their unique everything as to why they are like that. But I do believe that instead of the perfectionism thing, we can all have a standard.
Yeah, we should all have a standard,
right?
That we want to live
attain
up to,
and live up
right?
to, right?
But it doesn't have to be wanting to be perfect, because I don't think there's anyone walking the face of this earth that's perfect. As I say, do things with excellence.
Right.
And that perfectionism, a lot of times it can stem from self-esteem issues.
Okay. So in saying that, right, when you come to self-esteem issues, do you feel someone can be confident and have low self-esteem?
Of course.
Okay.
It takes courage to be confident.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Because you can show up confident, but you could be breaking on the inside. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you have to first build up the courage to do a thing.
Okay.
And when you become courageous, then you start being confident, because then you start feeling, that's like an inside job. You start feeling good from within. She just said, okay, I'm confident, I could go and I could make that presentation. But on the inside, you could be dealing with some imposter syndrome. There's still some self-esteem, like, what do they think it was good enough? Was this presentation good enough? I wonder what they're thinking about me. I wonder what they're saying. I wonder, do they like me? You're still thinking all of these things, but when you're confident, those things don't bother you.
Yeah.
Right? You show up as your best self because you feel good from the inside out.
And I like how you were able to differentiate the two with confidence and self-esteem. And I think as adults, right, we're already who we are, right? And sometimes we have to do a lot of soul searching and different things, coaching, therapy, whatever it may be, to sometimes build up that self-esteem or that confidence, right? But I think when you know better, you do better, right? And for those who are parents and friends and all these things, I think it starts with instilling that self-esteem and confidence in children from early.
Because a lot of times, when you, as an adult, I just got excited right there.
I saw
this is right off my lane. You know, a lot of times when people show up with that self-esteem, I don't feel I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. You have to start going to the root.
Yes.
To understand what produced the fruit. Okay? And a lot of times is who spoke negatively over your life.
Right.
What as a parent did you tell that child? Or what was spoken to you? A teacher, a friend, a family member. And so these things begin to take root, and they take root and form. And so as you grow up as an adult, if you never received any type of help to support you on knowing no, that's what the labels you were wearing. And you don't have to continue to wear those labels. You got to start deciding, who am I? And who am I becoming? So you got to deal with the being of who you are.
But even with the being, I think that's why some people are so heavily influenced to be someone else, because you don't have that structure of, who am I? What was spoken over my life? Like, how do I show up? How do I do these different things? And I think that ties into actually going back to the root of, like, okay, who am I called to be? Like, because everything will go back to the perfect thing, because it's like, I'm chasing something that is kind of unknown if you don't have that foundation of who exactly you are.
Yeah, so once you go back and you start tapping into that little girl, right?
Or young man.
Or young man, sorry.
Yeah.
And really realizing this is what others said about me, but who am I? Right? Who was I created to be?
Say that part.
Right? And when you start understanding that, and a lot of times it's difficult, we cannot go somewhere by ourselves that we have never been. So we need someone to walk with us, whether it's a mentor, if it's a deeper psychological issue, maybe a therapist or a counselor. If it's from a professional space, a coach, you know. So you want to find that support so that you can really, and someone that you can trust.
That's the biggest thing, someone that you can trust.
Because if not, you're not going to open up.
Yeah.
You want it to be a safe space. And that's one of the things, one of the first things I normally say to my clients. I said there's 100% confidentiality and I create a safe space. There's no judgment and there's no criticism. Because you got to start making people feel comfortable enough to trust you enough to open up. Right? So that's really, really important, of finding that person that you can trust to have that conversation with.
I like that. And I think just, in general, having the ability to see, hey, what do I need in my life in this season of my life at this moment? Do I need a coach? Do I need a therapist? Do I need a mentor? Because I think that's certain things. Like, sometimes people really need a therapist, but they might feel like, I just need to talk to my friend. They're using the wrong tools for the job, right? So in actuality, like, all of these things segue of being perfect, when I think it's just about building and molding what you are and seeing how to chisel out that best version of you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and it's really important, to some of our listeners who are listening right now, and they're feeling like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. Who am I to even do that?
Right.
How I can size myself up with her. You don't know what type of work she had to do to get to where she is. And I'm literally speaking about her or myself. For real, because
I was like, I thought we were still in
the polished version, and they think,
do you think we're polished though? You think you're polished?
I believe I am. I did a
little
little work
polished?
on me. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I got some good
I think I'm alright.
Some presence.
You got a little bit of riz
and some poise.
Okay.
Yeah. But it took work.
It did.
I wasn't always here.
You didn't just arrive.
I didn't just arrive. It took work, and I invested in myself. Right. I found the right coach. I found the right mentors. So we can't get to this place by ourselves.
Right. And I love how
and
you
I
say
prayed.
that. You see, just like you be in the vein of me, because I was gonna say, everybody has their different journey, but I would just like to say my journey. If it had not been for God, y'all probably would recognize who this person is. So in so many senses, when people have these like things of like, oh man, you have this or you have this, and I'm like, y'all don't know the nights I cried to God, not to anybody else, but it was just like, hey, and realizing what tools do I need to better myself to show up how I want to show up, because that's really what it was about for me. Like, yo, who am I? Like, how am I going to present myself to the world? Because I'm lost in the sauce right now. Like, how do I get to this place called there?
Yeah.
Right? There had no clear indication, but for me, I was just like, how do I get to this place? And it's genuinely of finding out what tools do I need and how to use them appropriately, and how to be vulnerable in a space to say, I need to figure me out.
Yeah, I surrendered to that.
You understand?
Because I mean, for me, definitely, it was the guidance of the Holy Spirit. I could not do this on my own.
In and of yourself.
And I was just thinking about my PhD. I remember, now you got the degrees and everything is on the wall. But I remember going in my prayer closet with that paper, and I was like, oh God, Lord, I don't know what else to write. And the papers are wet with tears because I'm at this impasse right now.
Yeah.
So people see the end product, but they don't understand the journey, the process
To get there.
to get to that journey. And so you don't want to be like anyone else, because you may not want to walk that journey or go through the process, because the learning is in the process.
Absolutely.
Right? Not the outcome.
I agree.
And the outcome is when it's brand new, polished and shine. But the journey to that, that gap in the middle is difficult. And so when you think about that, you don't want to be, I want to be like her. You can want to aspire to have certain attributes and to enhance yours, but you don't want to take on that person's persona to be like them.
Yeah, I love that. And I just think that in so many different seasons of life that people can utilize these different things, because I think you're evolving every day. There's going to be different seasons of you where you might feel like, I'm not showing up as the best version of myself here, or I'm striving to perfect this career-wise, or this marriage-wise, or this motherhood-wise, and all it is showing up and being the best version of who you are in that season of life. Because I think we're gonna change. We have to. If you stay the same, then
you're not growing.
You understand?
It's funny. So whether it's in a marriage or a friendship, sometimes people's like, "Oh, you changed."
I should.
And if you're not growing, you're dying. Not the physical death,
right.
But you're just being stagnant, right? So when people say you change, it's like, no, I didn't change. I grew.
I love that.
Like, who do you think you are now? Oh, you changed.
Me.
No, I grew.
Yeah.
So that's a difference that we have to know, make a note of. Yeah.
And that's why I love having these conversations. And I'm so glad to be able to bring this to the forefront of life, because like I said, like you might think, okay, I've got it now, I've mastered this. And then before you know it, another challenge, another task, another evolution has begun. And you have to consistently train and get to the point of where you're like, okay, I'm good for this season that I'm in right now. But our conversations are always chef's kiss.
So, I mean, whether you're in the workplace, whether you're in a marriage, whether you need to have that counseling, that coming together, a board meeting between husband and wife, whatever ways you want to do it to keep it fresh and keep it relevant. Because a lot of times, we get married and we just become comfortable. Husband come home, roller still in the hair. What's that? They sleep with the bonnet still on, and all that stuff. No. Like you want him to want to date you all the time. Like every time you see you, he want to date you.
Okay.
So you want to keep fresh and relevant. For your husband. I'm not saying you got to be made up and dressed up all day, but you want to
still show up.
You want to still show up, right? You want to still show up so that it keeps the love fresh in the relationship. We should continue to date even as you get married. Don't think that ends. Continue dating each other.
I thoroughly agree. agree.
And that's one thing I could say with you and Mo. I think y'all consistently like date each other.
Yeah, we date each other. I think, us having kids, you kind of like
Slowed it a
slow
little bit,
down a
but
little
still
bit, but you try to find that element of dating. But yeah, ultimately, I challenge to ask you, what is one thing you hope someone took away from this conversation?
Yeah.
And they ask themselves.
Yeah, I want to, ask someone to ask themselves, like, where am I in this time in my life? How am I showing up? Do I feel insecure? Do I feel I'm not good enough? Because that comes up so often. I'm not smart enough. I'm all these not enoughs that are only labels.
Right.
So I always say it's not what you are called, but what are you answering to? Oh, I remember her when. Okay, well, that's not her anymore. She died. This is the new Dr. Collins. That's the new Mel. That's the new you. So it's not what you're called, because people can say whatever. You know the work you do on yourself, and if you have not been doing the work on yourself, start doing work on yourself.
The key is
find
to start.
that person. Yeah, invest in yourself. Find that therapist. One thing I like about this generation, they're very open.
Yeah.
Especially from the Caribbean. Mental health is such a taboo thing to talk about.
Therapy. OBO on you.
Therapy is such a taboo thing. Like, you go to a therapist, you want to go to the crazy house. That taboo about that. But I like that this younger generation here, these Gen X's and the Alphas, they're very open. Like, I need therapy. I need this to take care of my mental health, because mental health has such a broader connotation now. Before, growing up in Trinidad, when you hear mental health, it's a boy, he mad. True, right? Right? And he ended up in St. Anne's, right? Which is the mental institution. But now it's such a broader context. Mental health could be burnout, it can be stress related. It's so
boundaries,
many things. Yeah. And we have to be mindful of not labeling ourselves. So no, I don't want to see a therapist, or at work I'm not performing the way that I should. I'm not leading the way that I should. I'm not getting the promotions that I need. Well, maybe I need a coach, to help me with my performance, help me with my leadership, to help me show up with the executive presence that I need, or whatever you may be lacking. So those are some of the things I would hope people would take from today's talk, and just kind of sit with it and go with it and see where's my blind spot and what am I not seeing, right? Do some introspection. What am I not seeing about me that this talk triggered that for me to be like, ooh, let me just do some self-examination.
Okay. I think my question that I want people to take away from this conversation is, am I chasing perfection? That would be my question. Am I chasing perfection, or am I living underneath my actual potential?
Well, yeah, I might be living underneath it if you're chasing the perfection. Right.
No,
so am I living up to my full potential, or am I chasing perfection?
Amen.
And that's where the self-esteem comes in, and that's where imposter syndrome starts showing up. But when you are living from your true self, and you start knowing who you are and embracing who you are, that perfectionism goes really low.
Shout out to you, Dr. Collins, for always rounding it back in and bringing it in. It's so hard for me to say like Dr. Collins, because I really just want to say mommy. But thank you for your insight. Drop the comments, drop the questions, anything that you may have. But we look forward to doing this. We look forward to speaking with you, but always make sure to hit the link in the description box below for the Alpha Moment, for the Alpha class.
And yes, remember, we are launching Power Rising in August. And yours truly will be one of the coaches in the room. We'll be in there coaching the new cohort that we're going to be starting in August. So if you want to be a part of Power Rising, we would love for you to be in there, where we work with women, helping them with their emotional intelligence, with their executive presence, just how to set healthier boundaries, What are some of the saboteurs that might be sabotaging you? We want to talk about all of those things. How you did, set your non-negotiables. It's gonna be fun, And as I say, Mel is gonna be in there. I'm gonna be in there. We're gonna be walking you through those things. We're gonna have some hot seat coaching. It's gonna be a fun 12 weeks. So click the link, register for the course. We want to see you in the room.
It's your girl Mel.
And it's your girl Dr. Collins.
See you next week in the seats. Let's get candid.